I've had my Qidi X Smart 3 3D printer for about 18 months now, and while it's been a good printer overall, something I've always had a bit of a problem with is the Wi-Fi. While it is possible to print directly from a USB drive, it's much more convenient to have your printer connected to the network. But due to issues with the Wi-Fi, I've found myself quite frequently having to fall back to a USB drive. Now, I did mention the issues I had with the Wi-Fi in the review video I made for this printer, and something that I mentioned in that video was that the X Smart 3 does in fact have an Ethernet port, it just hasn't been broken out to the outside of the printer. This is because it shares the same motherboard with the X Plus 3 and the X Max 3 printers, and what this means is that if you can access the Ethernet port, you will be able to make use of it. It's just not something that you can do out of the box. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is adding that Ethernet port to the back of the printer and showing you how you can do it to your printer too. Before jumping into the disassembly, you'll want to make sure you've got yourself a panel mount Ethernet extension cable. The one I've got here is 30 centimeters, which should be more than long enough to reach pretty much anywhere around the outside of the printer. You'll also need to make sure that you've got the equipment needed to make the cuts through the plastic. So I'm going to be using a rotary tool and a pair of tin snips. There are two parts of the printer that are going to need to be modified. We're going to need to make the cuts through the outer walls so that we can actually mount the port, but we're also going to need to trim some of the plastic surrounding the motherboard, which can be found underneath the metal plate on the base of the printer. You can do these two steps in any order that you want, but I'm going to start by dealing with a section around the motherboard. This is because it's going to be much easier to do it now when the rear panel is still attached than later on when it's going to be partially removed. To gain access to this area, you'll need to flip your printer upside down and remove all of the hex screws that are holding this metal plate in position. Once they're all removed, it's easy to remove the plate and you'll gain access to the entire underside of the printer. Before you start making any cuts to the plastic, I'd recommend doing a little bit of a test fit, just to see where you could actually mount the panel connector to make sure that it's not getting in the way of anything, and to also get an idea of where you're going to need to run the cable. Now I'm going to be fitting mine to the rear of the printer on the opposite side to the power switch, as this is quite a convenient location to get to, and I'll also be able to keep the remainder of the cable tucked out of the way. So I'm going to need to focus on cutting the plastic around the rear left foot, along with the wall that's blocking access to the Ethernet port. If you choose to mount yours elsewhere, you'll just need to bear in mind that you do need to refit the metal plate afterwards, so you'll need to cut low enough down that the cable is completely out of the way of the plate. You'll also need to consider things like the airflow to the motherboard if you're routing anywhere near the fan. You'll also want to keep out of the way of the belt mechanism. There's no reason you can't go quite close to it if you needed to, but you'll want to make sure the cable's secure so that it can't end up interfering with those belts. Once you're happy with where you plan to mount it, you can then start cutting through the plastic. You do need to be careful when cutting this area, as there is a wire that is mounted to this plastic wall. I chose to make the cut as narrow as possible so that I could retain the cable tie that's holding that cable in place. But if you wanted to, you could just remove that wall entirely and mount the cable a little bit further down. Either with another cable tie or even just a bit of hot glue would be more than enough to hold it in place. You'll need to make sure that you're making the cut right down to the base of the wall to ensure that there's enough clearance. It's also a good idea to try and make the cut as smooth as possible because you will be running the cable through this area. As you can see, this did take quite a while for me to cut through. I actually found this quite difficult to do even though it's not that thick, but I was using a pair of quite small pliers, probably could have done with using something a little bit bigger. With that wall out the way, it's then possible to plug in the extension cable. Finish preparing the underside of the printer by trimming away any other plastic that needs to be removed for wherever you've chosen to mount the port. Once you've finished cutting the plastic, make sure that you can route the end of the port to where you plan to mount it. You'll also need to make sure that you can route the cable so that it stays within the bounds of the printer, as once we're finished the metal plate will need to be refitted, and so the cable needs to be routed so that it doesn't get in the way of the metal plate. While this video is focused on adding the Ethernet port to the outside of the printer, you can also do the exact same thing for the USB ports, and in fact, while I was doing this mod, I chose to add a USB port next to the Ethernet port at the same time. It's exactly the same process, and there is an unused USB port which you can make use of for this purpose. It's something to consider while you're doing this mod, but I'll also mention it because you will see the USB port appear again later on when cutting through the panel. With the base of the printer sorted, it's now time to start removing the outer panels. If you're not bothered about hiding the screws, this is the part of the video that you can skip. To gain access to the side panels, you'll first need to remove the top panel. This panel is purely held in place with clips, and you can actually see these clips if you look inside the printer, the black plastic making it a lot easier to see against the white side panels. Using a spudger or a pry tool or something similar, it's quite easy to start unclipping these. Just take your time and work your way all the way around until you can remove it completely. It's probably easier to remove the transparent plastic section before doing this, as it gives you a little bit more access and another place to pull it up from. And here's just a quick look at what's holding those clips in place. You can see they're only small. There's just quite a few of them all the way around the printer that you have to unclip before the top panel will come off. With the top panel removed, we'll now turn our attention towards the rear panel. Now we're not going to bother removing this entirely because that would mean removing the filament tube and the cable that connects to the hot end. We just need to be able to move it enough to gain access to the plastic layer below. You'll want to start by unscrewing the 3 cable mounts from the inside of the printer, and you might want to unplug the motor cable as well just to make this a little bit easier. You can also unclip the cable mount that's on the rear of the printer that's holding the hot end cable in place. You might notice that I didn't do any of this before I started unscrewing the panel, and I definitely recommend you do that now before you start trying to remove it. It'll make things much easier. There are 6 screws holding the back panel to the frame of the printer. You'll need to remove all 6 of these screws, keeping in mind that for a couple of them there are also nuts on the inside of the printer. I just left these to fall out and dealt with them later on, but it's up to you how you want to deal with those. Unfortunately, just unscrewing this panel isn't enough to move it. It's also held in place with plastic clips, particularly on the corners. So the corners are the area that you should focus on when trying to unclip the panel. It did take quite a while for me to take this panel off, as it's difficult to get up the inside to try and unclip anything. Again, just take your time and don't be afraid to use a bit of force. Focus on one of the 2 corners and work your way along it from either the top or bottom edge. It's up to you where you want to start. Just work your way along it, and as you manage to start unclipping it, it'll be a bit easier to actually get in there to see what you're unclipping. Once you've done one of the sides, the other side should be a little bit easier to do. Once the back panel's free, aside from the cable and filament tube, you'll be able to move it slightly away from the rest of the printer. If you lie the printer on its front, you'll be able to push the panel upwards just enough to clear the area you'll need to cut through. To aid the cutting process, I made a small paper template which will give me a rough idea of how big the hole needs to be. A much better way of doing this would be to look in the video description, and you'll find a link to a website where someone has already done a similar mod in the past, and they've provided a nice printable template which you can use, which will be far better than the one that I'm using here. All that's left to do now is to start cutting through the plastic. I put no effort whatsoever into containing the plastic swarf that was coming away as I was cutting, but I definitely recommend you consider doing that, because I did end up with a lot of plastic all over the printer and just about everywhere else as well. There was a pretty big clean-up job after doing this, which could have been avoided if I planned things out a bit better. Once I was happy with how it was cut, I used a file to clean up the edges. I then screwed the panel mount connector in place to make sure that it fit correctly. If you're trying to get a tight fit, this might take a few attempts to make sure that the hole is big enough. As mentioned earlier, I also wanted to add an extra USB port, so I repeated exactly the same process right next to the Ethernet port so I could mount the USB connector. Here we can see the end result with both the Ethernet port and the USB connector in place. And while it's not a perfect result, I think the Ethernet port in particular could have been a little bit better with the how the screw holes are positioned. The connections are secure, and the appearance of this part doesn't really matter anyway, because it will be hidden under the outer plastic panel. If you choose to mount a USB port, be mindful of the amount of clearance that you want to have around the port for thicker USB cables or drives. Once everything's been fitted, you can now repeat the cutting process on the outer panel. Just remember that unless you've chosen to cut straight through both and have the screws on the outside, you're not going to need to cut screw holes into this panel. You might also want to consider adding a bit of extra clearance on the Ethernet port to allow extra room for particularly large locking clips. So I've finished cutting the panel now, and it's pretty clean. I'm quite happy with that. There's a few little scuff marks where I wasn't quite as careful as I should have been with the file, but yeah, I did put a bit of effort in there to try and file it down to get it to have a slightly cleaner look than it originally had. Before mounting it back in place, I'm just going to make sure that the Ethernet port can actually get through the hole. You'll also see that I decided to add the USB port just next to this, and I'm also going to do the same thing for that. Just make sure that there's enough clearance to actually make the port usable. So yeah, that's all working fine, and now all that's left to do is to reassemble the printer. Reassembling the printer is literally just the reverse of what was done before. Clipping the back panel back in place, putting the screws back in, remembering to put those the nuts back in the places that they were originally present, screwing the cable mounts back to the inside of the rear panel, and putting the top back in place. And once that's all done, that is it. Your X Smart 3 printer now has an Ethernet connection. There's nothing you need to do on the software side. You should just be able to plug the cable straight in and the printer will connect. One thing to bear in mind is that the printer won't display the connection through the UI. I guess because it was never designed to have it in the first place. So you just need to keep that in mind, that you won't see it on there, but if you have the means to check on your router, you should see it come up. You'll be able to see where it's connected, what IP address it's connected to, and you'll then be able to connect to the web interface. And yeah, so it should be a much more stable connection. Certainly I had a lot of issues over Wi-Fi. It's going to be a much more reliable result and will allow me to actually monitor the printer remotely, which is something I haven't really been able to do due to the connection issues. And it is so much more convenient being able to connect over Ethernet than it was over Wi-Fi. I had a lot of issues connecting over Wi-Fi, and I think one of the biggest problems is the fact that the printer is full of metal. You have a metal plate on the bottom. You also have the entire metal frame of the printer, and so the Wi-Fi signal is being blocked as soon as it's leaving the Wi-Fi dongle. It's not really in a great position to give the best signal strength, but But all of those issues are gone now that I'm able to connect using an Ethernet cable. So I hope you found this useful if you are an X Smart 3 owner, and I do plan to do some more upgrades and mods to this printer, and the next thing I'll probably be looking at is upgrading the printer's firmware. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to stick around for that. I hope you like this video, thank you very much for watching, and be sure to stick around for the next one.